So as promised, we're back with part 2 in our video series on the bug out bag slash get home bag slash some items that might be helpful in an East Palestine type disaster or any other sort of eventuality. So we'll get back into it. I'm continuing to unpack some of the bag contents and then moving on to some of the items that I like to carry in my vehicle with me at all times. Enjoy!
And a thing to consider too is because this is something that you're carrying in your vehicle, and depending on the area that you might live in, if you've got an issue of theft from vehicles, and even if you don't, it's good to have really 2 sets of everything here, right? Your get home bag, your bug out in place bag, and then when you get back to your planned location, you need to have doubles of all these items because, you know, massive civil unrest breaks out in the country. You might be finding your window smashed out and all these things that you've carefully prepared for months and years and spent thousands of dollars on gone. So you need to have a backup plan and be ready for whatever may come your way. So moving further into the bag, I got 2 things here. Some good chemical resistant gloves, and in the front here, extra filter for the grail, and some high quality duct tape. Rednecks know and use the hell out of duct tape, but in regards to this scenario, you're going to want to tape every seam and every point of ingress on your bunny suit to keep that dust, to keep that harmful gas off your skin and away from your person. Moving in a little bit further, once again, redundancy could save your life. Another Lifestraw. Some chem lights. These can be useful as a small light source that doesn't attract so much attention to you, especially if you may have discharged all of your batteries and it's enough that you can read a map by, cook a small amount of food, prepare what you need to, etc. This bag that you saw me pull out of the top, another one of these nice Magpul DACA bags, fully waterproof. This is where I keep some sort of left-handed general preparedness items that need to be accessible. Obviously, I've just got some mechanics gloves. You know, this is all stuff that is applicable to daily life. How many people break down on the side of the road? They don't know how to change their tire. They don't have gloves. You can bring something like this out and make your life a lot easier. Also within this bag, Paracord. You can use this for a lot of stuff. Setting up shelter. Obviously, you've seen we put this all in this Marpat waterproof. Help me out here. What's the word for this? Tarp. So you've got your waterproof tarp here. You can use this as a makeshift shelter. You run your line from tree to tree, keep yourself protected from the elements. Obviously, in most type of scenarios, you're going to want to find a building, especially a basement, to get into. But worst case scenario, you've got some alternative plans, additional tool to your toolkit that might keep you out of the elements. Got a backup pepper spray, bears, dogs, non-lethal situations, can help you in a pinch. A lockpick set. Consult your local laws in regards to wherever you may live. Make sure it's lawful to carry this. In most states, as long as it's not employed criminally, it's a lawful curio, you know, a lawful thing to have. But it could assist your bug out plan in some sort of collapse type scenario and get you access to some more proper shelter. Redundancy, handcuffs, communication. We just got some cheapo Baofangs, reasonably functional, powerful radios for the price. I've got more of these at home than I have here. You need to communicate with your squad, either the people that you're coordinating with. This is going to be great, especially in a grid down type scenario. Notebook, redundancy. This little petcock key. This can, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes here. You can turn on outside water sources as long as water is flowing. You find a spigot, you need to refuel with some clean water, especially even in a nuclear fallout type scenario. The pipes down in the ground are going to be supplying clean water for some time, especially if you're able to measure radioactivity, you know, and you have a appropriate monitor for that. This can help you access a lot of that clean water. Just a quick little battery pack. You know, everything in our lives runs off electricity. It's good to have some sort of way to keep yourself going and keep your devices charged. This goes along with the lock pit kit, just a little shim device to get past some easy residential doors. Maybe you lock yourself out of your house. It could be something that you carry for years and never use, or it could be something that is the difference between you having to call a locksmith versus getting in your house there. Already digging a little bit further into the pack. I've got some tools that you may never use, or tools that may be integral to your safety and security, and that is door stoppers. So if you find yourself in a non-permissive hostile environment and you're taking shelter in some sort of, you know, abandoned vacant place, you can wedge these on the door, prevent somebody from making quick access, give you enough time to respond to that threat. So I like to carry 3 of these in a side bag that's easily accessible there. Also within here, obviously I've got some cutlery. You don't want to have to eat with your hands. I keep some rolled up aluminum foil. A thing that people don't realize about aluminum foil is it's got great multi-purposes. Obviously you're cooking over a campfire, you can cover stuff up in it, put it right in the coals. But in regards to an EMP type threat, a nuclear type threat, in which a substantial, as we all know, EMP is released from that nuclear blast, you can cover an electronic device, namely a cell phone, your radios, if you have enough time to prepare, enough time to get ready for that threat. If it's a known entity that's employing that, you can completely wrap your electronic devices in that aluminum foil, and it acts as a Faraday cage to protect those circuits from frying. So I always keep a little bit of aluminum foil there on me. Let's see what else we got here. 1 is none, 2 is better. Another knife, Swiss Army knife. Tools can, you know, help in a lot of scenarios. Got more cutlery in here. And now digging a little bit further into my bag, some more redundancy items. We've got our paracord. Nice thing about it on this little spool here is it keeps a, you know, set amount on there, and it also has that little cutter. So it makes it very easy to deploy, cut, restow, keeps it from just being a big tangle in your bag. It's a neat little item. Not mission critical, but nice to have nonetheless. Another, you know, the paracord can be kind of thick. It's a little bit overkill for a lot of jobs. I like to have a little bit of tarred, like this is called, it's some sort of tarred fiber cord that is mold, mildew resistant. It's got a coating of tar there that's a little bit lighter duty, a little bit less flex and stretch than your paracord. So, you know, in setting up shelter, tying items down, setting snares, whatever it may be, this can be a good item to have. We go into a life-saving bag right here, and that is your fire starting kit. Whether you may shelter in place for 2 weeks, get through the bottleneck of whatever's happening. If the grid's down, if you don't have ways to make heat, fire, cook your food, sterilize your water, you're gonna need to be able to start some fires. So within my bag, as you can see, the theme of this video is redundancy and having multiple ways to accomplish the same task. So we'll go through these items one by one. Waterproof case for some Zippo storm matches. These things work great in any sort of weather. They're called hurricane matches. Same thing as a normal match, but it's got a massive more phosphor end there, or sulfur end, that'll start in basically any conditions. The solid alcohol tabs, once again, wet environments, windy environments, you're not gonna have a problem starting a fire. The tinder rope, sometimes you might not be able, you might not have the skills, or you might not be able to find suitable tinder. This is a waxed, like terpene soaked piece of natural fiber rope that you can take off, fray a piece, fluff it up, and you're starting a great fire with a spark or just a normal light. Got that, some more stormproof matches, Bic lighters. In your easiest fire starting scenario, you should keep a ton of those on hand. A small folding saw for cutting up kindling, clearing small obstacles. Like I said, this is my go bag. I always keep one of these in here. Within the vehicle, I have a slightly better saw, but this is a nice small form factor. 2 good knives. This Morniv Tactile or something with this nice Scandi grind is a great knife. Big solid spine on the rear that you can strike your ferro rod with. Get great sparks going there. It's also got that Scandi grind, which is just a completely flat angle that's really easy to maintain with the simplest of sharpening stones. Are you picking up yet on the theme of this video? Redundancy. Another great little knife, especially with this flat chisel design. It's so easy to keep sharp, keep razor sharp. It's a nice thing even for splitting small kindling like this. And just put it on there like that. Take something else. Boom. Keep breaking it down, keep breaking it down. Make yourself some nice kindling there. And this is also something that I always carry, and I've got more of this in my Jeep, is this fat wood. It's basically a terpene rich pine wood that starts, once again, in any sort of condition, rain, wet, cold. It's just an easy way to get that fire blazing and going as quick as the very bottom of my pack, because it's going to be the thing that in your immediate exigent type circumstances you're going to be focused on the very last thing, and that is food, right? We have to always maintain hydrated. Water is going to be one of your first critical considerations, which is why my water purification, my water stores are immediately accessible to me, because you can go realistically, you know, in a high stress environment, 2 weeks without eating, it's within the realm of possibility. 3 days without drinking, you're not making any sort of cognitive function. You're barely operating, right? So you have to make that a priority of your preps no matter what. So in the bottom there though, I do have food, right? Best case scenario, you want to keep some sort of calories coming in. Most of us lead a fairly sedentary lifestyle, and a scenario like this is going to be a high stress, high caloric need environment. So in regards to that, I'm not packing a bunch of comfort foods. I'm not keeping Doritos and the foods that I love on hand. I'm keeping calorie dense, easily digestible foods. And that's going to vary from person to person. But for my personal findings, it's 2 things, and this is how I plan it, is sardines for a protein and fat source, and instant oatmeal for a carbohydrate and nutrient dense food. So just within the pack, I'm keeping a case of sardines, And then in this nice dry bag, I've got a multitude of instant oatmeal packets. Your personal views on oatmeal might vary, but I love oatmeal. It's a comfort food for me, and it's going to keep me going and keep me in the fight. Those dry bags are great. You can pick these up at a mill serve site, especially with oatmeal. It's going to keep it dry, keep water and grass, keep it from molding. And this is about 10 days worth of calories for me. Into my vehicle everyday carries, obviously, keep as much water as you can carry. Moving in, we all know what's under here. Something that's going to be essential to every person's end game, preparedness scenario. We won't go into the specifics of that setup, as that's very much user dependent, mission dependent, and highly up to preferences. Another thing I like to carry, and one thing, especially for New York residents, you're gonna have to make a judgment call there. Rifle plates. Obviously, you got some storage for more ammo there, and an added level of safety for you depending on the threat that you're experiencing. Everybody knows what this is from the movies. You're going to want to know whether the environment you're in is safe to be around, and how quick you need to get out of Dodge. Tiger counter. Just got some additional clothes back here. Obviously, this isn't something you want to have in view within your vehicle, because you're going to have a bunch of busted windows. Every one of your preps and every one of your accoutrements should have a dual purpose. So this is a great mil spec wool blanket. It's fire retardant. It's really warm. They're scratchy, they're itchy, but it'll be the least of your worries, more than likely. Another dry bag. These are great for storing foods, any sort of little swag you might pick up along your journey there. This is sort of my vehicle maintenance and roadside disaster sort of kit here. This is a one-way valve for a siphon. Obviously, you got some ratchet straps. Your siphon tube. Now, siphoning gas from your own vehicles, because taking it from other people's vehicles would be stealing, is a user-dependent skill. Some people might have the skill to get around modern safety mechanisms, such as like the anti-rollover valve, which will stop you from directly putting this tube down the filler neck there and getting that. More than likely, and especially with most modern cars, you have a plastic gas tank. You should be carrying 3 or 4 knives in your kit. You should be able to get into your own vehicle there that's inoperable for whatever reason, and get that valuable petroleum out of that tank. All right, tow straps, especially in a disaster scenario, help people out a little bit. You see somebody that you think is competent enough to continue on to the next step, they're stuck in the mud, give them a hand. You might need that good karma down the road there. Tree strap for the winch up front. I keep a winch on my vehicle. Very useful item. More to the radio AV equipment, CB radio. Some people still use them. Can't have enough duct tape. Some shackles. Pinch valves for the siphon kit. Some air wedges. Maybe your friend locks their keys in their car and you need to gain access to that vehicle. These are very easy to use, along with your wedge. And if you come in around here, you've got your folding Slim Jim there. You can gain access to your buddy's vehicle and help him get the stuff out that he needs to. Going through the rest of the stuff I keep back here. Another waterproof case of fat wood. Depending on your needs and whether you're able to procure some more, it's a great thing to have. 1 is none and 2 is 1. So more good stuff to have. Quick tent. Don't know what scenario you're going to be, whether that might be of use to you, especially in a vehicle everyday carry. It's an easy thing, takes up very little space, very little weight on your total vehicle, and could be the difference between life and death. Another gas mask. These are cheap to pick up. This isn't the highest quality. I believe this is a Bulgarian military surplus, but you may need it for a loved one or a member of your team that didn't see the writing on the wall. Here's a little bit better saw. I can also carry this in the pack. It's this Japanese crosscut design. I learned the hard way what a great saw it is. First day I started using it, and got a couple stitches there. I can attest that you can clear the roadway with this if you've got a tree down, it's some sort of hurricane scenario. Small form factor, not super impressive looking, but impressive results and a great to have item. Sort of going farther into the weeds here, just some more items I carry. More water, jumper cables, more toe straps, just a little camp axe. This was a marbles hatchet that actually had a great handle that I broke. I rehung this one with what I had lying around. I'm probably gonna have to replace the handle again at some point, but another good item to have. Coming around here, a good quality sleeping bag. This is a LL Bean, maybe 0 to 32 bag. Once again, the simplest things that we don't encounter in our everyday life can kill you the quickest. Hypothermia, dehydration, simple things like that could be the difference between continuing on your journey and being done for good. So a couple other items that are just can be useful, you know, bird watching or whatever. Some nice quality binocs. I like these Nikon adjustable zoom guys. Some rubber gloves. I keep nitrile gloves back here in one of these molly pouches on these bar tack seat covers. Cool little thing to have. You don't know if you're able to grab them, whether you're, you know, helping somebody out who's injured with your med kit there. It's probably another good thing that I should actually put into there. But just another thing to expand your repertoire and make you a more capable person. So obviously we covered those 4 most crucial things that would have been helpful to the residents of East Palestine at the time of that chemical release and disaster. But more so than that, nobody is able to predict whatever scenario you might be encountered with. So I think it's crucial to prepare for any sort of eventuality, and worst case scenario, you have a bunch of stuff that might be useful in other endeavors. So keep yourself and your family protected. As much faith as many people put in their local, state, and federal government, the reality as we've seen in East Palestine is that they'll bungle it. They have other interests, there's other vested interests that may not align with that of the individual citizen. So I think it is best for you to look out for you and your own. There's a cliche saying that's a cliche saying for a reason, and that is nobody's come to save you. It's up to you to look out for you and your own, and maybe there's some items you can think to add to this. Let me know in the comments. One thing that's not in the med kit there is a tourniquet. The reason for that is it's immediately accessible within the cab of my Jeep. Uncertain times to be live in America. I wish everyone the best for them and their loved ones. Don't forget to kiss your homies. Good night.